and welcome or welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking if you are new. So today's video is very exciting because it's book related again. I'm really into book content at the moment, so that means I'm going to be doing some more on my channel because it's only right. Now I have filmed a Get Ready With Me and that will be going up before this, so if you have seen that, I have mentioned a few things, and some of the book content it was mentioned in that, and this is one of the videos that I wanted to do, which I have seen floating about everywhere, which is the 25 books I would like to read, or would like to read in 2025. So before we get into it, I want to just say that I am one of those people that, because I've only just really got back into reading, I did used to read a lot when I was young, but then I went out of it quite a lot, and then every time I always would have books and I would be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna get back into it, and then I just never did. I would probably read one book and then fall out of it again. But then last year, 2024, was actually quite a good year for me. I did actually read quite a few books. Now, when I tell you how many, you'll be like, oh, it's like I can read that many in a month. But I am just not one of them people because I am quite a slow reader. And I've also realised that I feel like my problem is the fact that I only kind of read at night time. So I have to go sit downstairs with Winnie to take her out for her last wee at night. And I literally only read then. And I feel like if I was to read in the day, I would fly through books. I just don't. And so I think that's something I want to change this year. So I read more in the day, because I think I would actually get through more books if I did that. So I'm probably going to do that to hopefully get through these that I have. But I ended up reading 13 books in 2024. Now, and my goal was 12 because I was going to have at least one a month sort of thing. And I ended up reading 13. So I was happy with that. And I was a bit ambitious and decided to double it for this year, which was 24 books. And so I laugh because this trend at the moment is 25, but I think it's just because it's 2025, we just do it like that. But I just wanted to jump on the bandwagon because obviously I have so many books that I've still not read that I bought years ago, and so this time I'm deciding to try, probably won't happen, to not buy any new books unless they're ones that I really want to read this year. So I do have 3, I think, that I don't actually have because they're either new releases, they're not out yet, or I still haven't bought them yet because I want to get to them, and I do want to buy them. It's also flickering, so sorry about that. So those I will get to. I'll say what they are when we get to them. But I do have those, and so the rest of them, there are ones that I really need to prioritise because I either bought them in my haul that I did last year at the beginning of the year, or they're ones that I got for my birthday on my 21st or something, and I was just a bit like, shit. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. I'm very excited. I may have a few extras as well, but I'll get to that near the end. So yeah, strap yourself in, grab a snack and a drink, get comfy, and let's talk about some books. Okay, so these first set of books that I'm going to show you are on a pile that I've done for my priority reads. So other people do actual TBRs of a few piles for January. Well, I've kind of done that, but I also haven't, because I know for a fact that I won't read all of these in January. I'm already reading a book and I'm nearly finished, so I can guarantee that I'm going to probably be able to read another one at least, which I already know which one it's going to be. You can probably kind of see it. But yeah, I have a pile of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. And I think the idea is out of it, I need to choose out of those books the next read, basically. So when I next finish a book, they're the ones I have to pick from because they're top priority. So let's get to those. And like I say, I already know my next read after the one I'm reading, and it's Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. I'm so excited to read this. I actually am. I did actually briefly mention it in my what I got for Christmas, because I didn't get it for Christmas, but I asked for it for Christmas, but I didn't get it, so I just bought it myself because I needed it. Like, it was one of those. It was like, I asked for both Sky Shade and this, and I got Sky Shade, so I was like, yeah, that's the one I'm actually nearly finished with, so loving it. And then, yeah, so both of those books were like, if I don't get them, I need to get it anyway, and so I did. I ordered it. And also, if you didn't know and you wanted to get your hands on it, it's actually in Asda at the moment, and I was like, what, when I saw it, so there you go. But no, I just ordered it off Amazon, so this is my next read because I'm very excited about this. So that's number one. So that one's definitely my next read, but then the next order now, there is no particular order. These are just the 25 books that I want to read, but obviously we're still on this pile, so yeah. Okay, so this next one is kind of embarrassing if I tell you the full story, which I probably will, but it's I don't even want to say, but I have tried to read this for about 3 years now, and that sounds ridiculous when I think about that, but it's 2025. I got this for my birthday in 2022, and I got both. I got Crown of Midnight and I got this, and I read Crown of Midnight easily. It was great. I loved it. Started reading this, and then of course fell out of it. Don't ask me why, I just did. And then 2022 I didn't read anything else. I mean, I probably lie, because I think I did read books. I feel like I read like Red, White and Royal Blue. I probably also, that was the year of Heartstopper coming out, so I probably bought all of them and read them. So in terms of like books that I needed to read, I didn't read. So that is why Heir of Fire is here, and it is top priority, I tell you. And obviously, I'm like, I need to read it, but I need to finish it. I'm on chapter... Where am I? Chapter 25, which is page 200, exactly. But, like, the way I have constantly picked this up, read some, and then put it back is not even a joke. I have done it so many times, and I don't know why. And obviously, one of my friends, Tally, she actually bought me this, and she has been wanting me to read it for so long, and I just don't know what it is about it. I don't ask me why. I just don't know. So I'm making it top. Like, if I do not read this in the first half of this year, I'm gonna be mad at myself, I tell you that. Because I think I see that my goal for reading this year is not necessarily reading, like, oh, I need to read, like, millions of books. It's not the, what's it? It's quality over quantity. And so I want to be reading, it's more that I want to read the books I want to read, if you get me. Like, I'm like, I need to read that. Like, and I'll be so happy with myself if I read this and then I don't read anything else, you know, because I finally read it, kind of thing. And so yeah, but the only other thing is that I'm just like, what do I do? Because it's been so long. Like, I just kept going, like, picking up reading, going back, like, picking up reading. So I'm like, do I just completely just start fresh and just read the whole thing in like one time? Or do I just carry on? Because I'm scared that I'm going to be like, do the same thing again. Or I'm going to be like, I know that. And I feel like nothing was really happening at the beginning anyway, which is probably why I was getting bored. So I'm like, no, I'll continue, because then hopefully we'll start getting good, you know, kind of thing. Because I know these are good books, but I just don't know what's wrong with me. So yeah, definitely need that. Oh, okay, so we're sticking with Sarah J. Maas, because the next one is this, because yes, I've still not read it. I bought it in that haul I did at the beginning of last year, and I was like, I need to read it, and then I never did. I think my issue was I had Nightbane and I had this, and I was finishing the first one of this, and then I was like, which one do I do? And I went into Nightbane instead, and then I just never picked this up. So that's also a priority, because the way that everybody screams about it is now getting on my nerves. I'm just like, okay, I get it. I will read it. Like, I'm going to read it. So yeah. And then also going back to Asda, I feel like they actually have the rest of them. Like, they actually had, I think, the whole set in Asda, and they do that, like, 2 for $9 deal in there. So I was like, that's pretty good, actually. So, but I'm not buying any more of the series until I'm, like, reading this, or halfway reading this, because I'm telling you, I just don't need to if I'm just not going to touch it. So, but yeah. High up on my priority list, but obviously that's chunky, so I feel like that could literally take me a month to read that, unless it's good and I get through it really quickly, so we'll see. Oh my god. So the next one as well is another one that I'm kind of annoyed at myself that I still haven't read, and it's what am I like, honestly? I did another video again in like the middle of the last year, where it was like a big bookish video, and I said that this was going to be my next read. I still haven't read it. I honestly, and this is the first one of the series, and I have all of them. So you could say, because I do have them over here. So I haven't classed them as like one each book, because that would like take up a lot of my list. I obviously want to get to this and read the whole thing if I can, but my main priority out of it is this. Yeah, this, because I just get so annoyed at myself, because I know I'm going to love it. I mean, I hope I love it, because I know it's very spicy and I do struggle with that. But I just have this feeling that I'm going to be able to get past that and just love it, because I know that everyone loves this so much. And so, what am I doing? I don't know. Don't ask me. And this is also on the same lines, but yes, I still have this and I still haven't read it. So I also really want to get to this, because I always said that I had a feeling that this would be my favourite out of the 2 at the time. Obviously now we have Daydream 2, which I would also like to get to as well at some point. But of course it was more like this one, and then obviously this came out. But of course I wanted to get it, so I ran to the works and got it. And then the sprayed edges. Because the only thing is, though, that I get sad about is that apparently nobody really liked this book, or it wasn't the strongest out of the series. And I'm sad, because I really love the concept. Like, hello, she's literally wearing a Taylor Swift like cardigan, and she's a book girly, she's an introvert, and I just feel like I am going to relate to this so much. So I feel like I'm going to like this one the most, but I also don't know, because that's what I'm saying now. Like, now that we have this, I think I'm going to like this the most, but I kept thinking that I would like this the most. Well, between this and Icebreaker, definitely, but I still don't know, because I still haven't read them. So I'm going to obviously prioritize this one first, and then hopefully more into the year I can read that one as well, because I just have this feeling that I'm going to love them. So there's those. Okay, and the last one I have in the like priority pile is this one. And this one was one that I bought from Waterstones on that haul. And of course, I feel like it's not become a priority, because it's one of those books that I just bought because I could do a deal and it sounded great. But I really do have this thing about it where I would love to read it. Like, I really do. I'm really intrigued. Like, usually I just buy them and like them at the time, but then I put them away and then I'm like, why did I buy that? Because I feel like I'm not going to read it. But this is not one of those books. I feel like I'm going to love this. I really do. And it's quite thin, and I want to prioritize it because at the moment it's very wintry, and like literally it's freezing outside. There is snow, it is white, and I'm like, holy shit. So I feel like if I made the effort, I could literally sit and read this in a day if I could. Like, I could do that, and I don't know why I don't. I just don't prioritize like reading. For some reason I love to, and I love books, but I feel like in the day I would rather be doing something else, and so then I read at night, but then I just don't have as much time to read it. So I think that's probably why I don't get through my books as quick as I want to. So, but yeah, I could totally read that, and it sounds great. So that's the last one from my priority pile that hopefully I can get to, but obviously we don't know yet, but we will see. So the next one I have that I would actually like to get to soon, and if you know, then you know, but it's The Do-Over by Lynn Painter, because I loved Better Than the Movies, it made me buy the rest of her books. I mean, there's still a few out there, but this one is obviously sort of aimed at February/Valentine's, because the idea of the Do-Over is that she relives the same day over and over again, which is Valentine's Day. And yet again, this is quite a thin read, which I'm thinking, like, has she intended that? Like, that you could sit and read this in a day being Valentine's Day? Possibly. Like, I could see that. And so I would like to do it. I feel like it would be really fun. Because I also consider doing some, like, reading vlogs, but I have never done that before. But I could do, because if it's for a video and I actually prioritise reading in the day, then maybe. Don't quote me on that though, because like, But I would love to get to this as well. So I'm like, a part of me wants to swap maybe one of those books out, or at least add that. But if it becomes February, I might swap it out, because I definitely want to get to this in February, or at least Valentine's Day. Because I just feel like it's perfect. Like, I know you don't have to read it on Valentine's Day, but because I've still not got around to it, and it's that time of year already, I just thought I could. So that's the next one. Oh, okay, so these are some books that, I mean, where I've had them for ages, especially this one, okay? I have had this for so long now, and this, I feel like I touched on, like, my Shadowhunter era in my Get Ready With Me, but it's true, I miss it, and I feel like I really need to start reading these as well, and so these are probably going to go high up, like, after those books. Probably get to these if I can, because they are about Malik, and I love Malik. my voice cracked, I was so excited. I love Malik. Okay, so if you know from like 2020, if you've been here sort of around then, you'll know that all I talked about was Shadowhunters and Malik. And when I heard about this, because obviously that led to me like reading the books as well, so I've read all of the Mortal Instrument books, so I'm fine with that. But I bought this, I literally think it was like 2019 that I bought this. And at the time I was still reading the last one, so I couldn't really start it. And yeah, that was sort of, again, when I went out of reading after I read that. So I feel like I then started with Throne of Glass and stuff, so then I didn't pick this up. And I still haven't. But I really want to read this, because I think this is all set during like one of the books where they were a bit MIA because they went on a holiday or something, and I'm just like, what am I doing? How have I still not read this? I don't know. So that's one book, but then of course I also have the second in the series, because I again saw it, so I actually got this for my 21st, so that was in that video, but of course that means I still not read this because I haven't read that one yet. So they're together, one at like two, like on their own sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but because I've had them for ages as well, I was like, I need to. I just need to do it. I need to get round to them now and read them, because I feel like I just get, because of BookTok and like book content, they start like, they read all the things, like new things, which is like, oh, I need to read that then. But it's like, no, because I've still not read the books we talked about, like, you know, like a bit behind, you know, I'm like, help, I'm still at the restaurant and you're already moved on and reading this other book. And I'm like, whoa, I'm still back here, like reading that, because I've not read that yet. So I feel like I'm doing that this year. I'm like, reading does not matter. It's not a race. You can read at your own pace, and you can read whatever you want to read, whenever you want to read it. So that's what I'm trying to give myself this year, and I will be accomplished if I just read, you know, the books that I've been wanting to read for ages. So have that mindset, guys, because it's really helpful. And that means that we're on the same lines, because I still haven't read these either, because I asked for these. This is the Infernal Devices series. This is also the Shadowhunters universe, but it's actually a prequel to the Mortal Instruments, sorry. And yeah, I asked for these for my 21st, and of course still haven't read them. So I definitely want to read them now, because I also know that these are quite good as well, and I'm just like, what am I playing at? So obviously this is 3, but I'm classing it as like one of the 25, because obviously I would love to read the whole series, but if not, I'm prioritizing at least the first one. Okay, so that's what I mean by it. So yeah, I definitely want to try and read this, because I love that universe, and I've not been in it in so long, you know, that world, like, I love it. And so yes, obviously though, it doesn't have like Clary and Jason Malik in it, but it's fine. Like, I'm gonna still enjoy it. I think Magnus might show up, so I'll be okay. But yeah, very, very, I'm now like, excited, because I felt like these were like the back of my bookshelf and I forgot about them. And so because I had this, like, I had to rearrange, where I decided to like rearrange everything, and I've put like all of my ones I need to read TBR in like a separate bookshelf that's visible, and so that I can see everything that I still need to read. So that made me get excited about the fact that I had this still, and I was like, yes. So got those. The next one is The Magpie Society by Zoe Sugg and Amy, whatever her last name is. But yeah, again, bought this for my 21st, and I still haven't read it, so definitely want to try and get to that this year, because they've even got a second one, because I think this is one for Sorrow, so I'm guessing like Two for Joy is the second book. But yeah, I remember seeing that, but being like, oh, I've still not read the first one. So that's why I was like, let me buy it, because obviously I loved Zoe's Girl Online, and so I was like, I should read it then. But I just, yeah, again, I did that thing where I just had it on my shelf and then forgot about it. So yeah, that's probably why. And that's why I was like deciding to pull them out, and I was like, yes, I need to read that. So gonna try and get to that this year. The next one I have is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I was rewatching my haul again, and I was like, yes, because like literally that made I rewatched it to be like, yeah, that means I need to read those books, because I'm like, come on, I need to read them. But I just do this thing where I end up like getting into something and then buying other books. But yeah, I know this series is good. Everyone talks about this series. I just feel like my problem is that, like I say, is I get convinced to read things when everyone talks about it. So I buy them and then get obsessed with it, but then they start talking about something else, so then I want to read that instead, and I forget about this. And so I'm like, oh, because I forget that it was good, I need to like go back and find videos where they screamed about this, because then it'll convince me to read it, because I know it's good. Because obviously this is like the Dreamland Billionaire series, and I feel like, yeah, again, I bought this because apparently the second one's better than this, and I just wanted to get to that, but of course I still haven't bothered yet. But it looks cool. Like, whoa, I'm flicking through it and I'm like, whoa, the way that each chapter starts, it looks kind of cool. So yeah, because I have sort of seen a thing, and it was like, you never know, but you might have like a serious hidden gem on your bookshelf, and you just don't know about it because you just don't think it'll be good, or like you're not sure, so you don't prioritize it and read it, but then you end up like finding your like favorite book of the year or something in that. And I'm like, that is what I want this year. I really want that. I want to go through these books and hope that I will end up like really loving something that I've had on my shelf for ages, kind of thing. So that's one of them. Alright, I feel like I'm losing count, but I think this is book 14, and it's Six of Crows, because, yeah, again, I saw this in my collection and was like, ooh, because what I realised, I think, is that I love me a fantasy book. Okay, I love fantasy a lot, and I feel like I didn't read enough last year, because that's what gets me going, and don't talk to me about Air of Fire, I know. Yeah, I feel like I was like, yeah, I need to start reading more of my fantasy books. And obviously I got this off Caitlin as like a blind date with a book thing. And so I was like, yeah, maybe I should add this to my list, because I felt like it was one of them that I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to get around to reading that. But I don't know, there's something about it now, because apparently it's very good. And obviously there is Shadow and Bone, which I had to ask Chloe about, because I was like, do I have to read Shadow and Bone before reading this? Like, are they like connected in some way? Because I feel like if they are, then I probably will read that first and then this. But if not, then I'll go into this, because I feel like there's only two, because then there's another one. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I felt like at one point I wasn't bothered, and then all of a sudden I like got excited about it again when I found it, and I was like, yeah, I actually want to read it. So I thought I'd add that to my list. And then I feel like the rest of these now are romance books that I have, which is crazy, but I feel like I do love romance. But then, of course, they're all like the ones that I get recommended. So, oh my god. So this next one is one that I am so excited to read. And it's, oh god, that's embarrassing. Oh my lord. When did I buy this as well? Literally ages ago. Oh my god. There we go. Whoa, I even love the cover of it. Like when somebody pulls it up, I'm like, whoa, that book. And I was in the works one day. I think it was when I was buying some like Halloween-y books, and I was like, oh my god, I actually want to get that, because I read The 7 Year Slip like everyone did. That book was so good. It was so good. Like, I don't think I've seen one person hate that book, because there was just something about it. I don't know what she put in that book, but it was everything. And apparently this is kind of giving the same thing. It's by Kirsty Greenwood, and it's that magical realism, because I think she like you know, she's dead, she's in the afterlife, but she meets somebody that she is like, that's the one, but then he gets sent back to Earth, and she's like, what? So then she makes a deal, and she has to come back to Earth, but to like find him and like make him fall in love with her or whatever. And I'm just like, wow, that sounds amazing. And of course all the people that I follow have read this and say it's so good. So that's another one that I'm so excited to get to, and I really hope that I read it soon, because it's starting to like I just want to read it now, sort of thing, you know. So yeah. And also the sprayed edges are beautiful, like look at that. But yeah, when I found it in the works as well, I got sad that day, because I was like, oh my god, yeah, where's that, because I want it. But then I was like, no, it's not here. And then there was like one left, and I was like, it's meant to be. So yeah, the fact that I still haven't read it, to be honest, I'm kind of sad about that, because I was so excited about it. Speaking of Ashley Poston, did I say Ashley Poston? Well, she wrote The 7 Year Slip, and she also wrote this, because I loved it. Actually, that's a lie. I bought The 7 Year Slip, and I think it was in a deal with this. I think you had to buy both, and I was just like, yeah, sure. And so got this, and I'm actually excited to read this as well. I was going to read it at the end of last year, and I didn't. So yeah, hopefully can get to that. I might wait though. This is not really on my top, but I would love to read it, because I just feel like I loved her writing so much. I really did like it, and I feel like this is the same, where it's like the magical realism, and it does have like grief in it, which I'm like, whoa, okay, but it was beautifully written, and so I feel like it's going to be the same in here. So possibly like nearer, like maybe like in autumn I'll read this again, but I don't have to. So but yeah, I'm very excited about that one. Crikey. So I have had this book for ages, and so I am desperate to read this, because so I bought excuse me, another Ali Hazelwood book in my haul, which was Love Theoretically, because at the time, again, everyone was reading that and screaming about it. So I was like, well, obviously, and I was like, I do have this, but I need to read it first, because yeah. And of course I have this, which is really irritating, because it was a TikTok sensation. It was, which is why I bought it. But I feel like, yeah, again, I've had this for ages as well. Like, genuinely. I could have bought this. It probably was 2022, because I think that was when this was massive on TikTok. And so I remember seeing it and then saw it in the works, so I bought it. But then just put it on my shelf. And so I'm just like, what am I playing at? And everyone talks about Ali Hazelwood because she's got like all these other books floating around at the moment. And I still haven't read one of her books yet. So because I have this, I really want to read this. Obviously, I do also have Love Theoretically, but I feel like out of the two, I was like, this one I think is the most that I want to read. And then if I can, I'll read that one and I'll get to that one. So yeah, I'm dropping it. Holy shit, we're still going. I have so many books, but you forget with 25, there is quite a lot. But the next one is, yet again, quite a popular, and this is kind of a summary read, but it's Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Now, yet again, in the summertime, I felt like everyone was reading Emily Henry. And so when I was in the works again, I saw it and I bought both. I bought this one and I bought You and Me on Vacation. And I was sad that I'd then never read any of them over the summer, but you know, I just get excited. Like, I'm telling you that now going into works is dangerous because, of course, now that they're so good and they have all these books that I hear, I just then want it because I see it and I'm like, I want it. I'm going to read it eventually. And so then I feel bad because I just have it on my shelf. But yeah, I feel like out of them all, people like this one. I feel like You and Me on Vacation, people don't really like. I know people also like Beach Read, but I didn't buy Beach Read. I bought this one. So I was like, I'll do this one out of the two I have. So hopefully I can get to this in the summer. Hopefully I can go on a broad holiday this year. And so maybe I'll take this with me because I feel like that might be a really good read for like going on holiday. So yeah, definitely needed one of those. I almost feel like as well, I tried to pick a book of all these authors that I know that people rave about, but I just still haven't read a book of theirs yet. And I'm just like, what is going on? You know? So that's why I was almost also like, oh yeah, you know, like Ali Hazelwood, and I was like, yeah, Emily Henry, like, what am I doing? I just need to do it. So I did that. Gosh, yes, this is another one that now I'm like, stop, because I keep there's a girl on TikTok, she's obsessed with this series, she's read all of it, and now I want to buy everything even though I still haven't read the first one. So that's why I've put this, which is the first one in, I think it's called the Windy City series, which is all like sports romances. It's like the interconnected standalone, as they call it. Although this one is chunky, and I was like, oh, when I remember, because I did the same thing yet again. I went in the works, it was there, I bought it, and I obviously put it on my shelf, and I've just still not got to it yet. And so I just keep seeing people like scream about it, especially in the like yearly wrap-ups. They're like, I read all of them, or I read this one and I loved it, it was great. And so I'm like, right, that's another one I need to add to my list because I did buy it. And so yeah, but obviously I always say, like, if I then read it but I then get addicted and I want to read the next one, then I'll probably also go and get it and then read it in the year. So that's the problem, because I feel like I do have all of these, but then I also, if I read one of a series and then love it, I might end up having to buy the next one and then read that, because I feel like I do that, and so that might bump off like some of this list. But either way, as long as I read the first one of these series, because I've been meaning to, then I'll be happy. So, but yes, even though it's very chunky, I am excited to get to it and read it because... And yet again, she says that the second one is the best one. And I'm like, what is it with the second one? Even though she said she still loves the first one. So there you go. So this is now book number 20 that I would like to read. And this is actually a new addition to my collection, but... Hooked by Emily McIntyre. I actually got the entire series for Christmas. The entire bar the newest one, Hex. I don't have that one, but it doesn't matter because please. I have the others, and so I'm going to prioritise at least reading the first one, which is Hooked. So yeah, I'm going to add that to the pile. Obviously, though, I don't know how I'm going to feel, because I know these are a dark romance, which this will be my first because I've never actually read that before. But I think people say that these are quite tame, like they're not like really dark, but they are like dark, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I was like, now that I've got the series, I was like, maybe I can at least like want to read one, because I know I've still got other books probably that I have had for ages, but I feel like I've already sort of got through those now, the ones I've had for so long. And so I was like, I can at least say one of them. So I was like, yeah, I'll read Hooked then. And so I thought I would add that to the list. And then 21 and 22 are by the same author, because I have Out on a Limb and I also have Next of Kin. Yeah. So I was so excited because I saw that they had her, like 3 of her books on the 3 for $60. Also, of course, I had to buy all 3. But these 2 are the ones that I've heard really good things about, because the third one I think is called Next to You, but I feel like no one has spoke about that one, and so I was like, well, we'll just do these ones then, because I would really like to read these. Whoa, I am losing my voice. So yeah, because yeah, again, I feel like the girl that I watch, she actually prefers Next of Kin to Out on a Limb, but obviously Out on a Limb was a big book. I feel like loads of people, yet again, really like this, and I do have a feeling that I will also like it, because I feel like it's going to just be cutesy, and I don't know about if there's any spice. If there is, then it'll be fine. But I also laughed because her name was Winifred, so like Winnie or Win, and I was like, stop, because my dog is called Winnie, and I love that. So obviously this will be first. I'll read this one first, and then yeah, Next of Kin. And I'm not kidding, but I was like, I've literally just bought all of them, and then I've literally just seen that she's releasing another one. I think it's called Out of the Woods, which I'm like, all right, Taylor Swift, like, don't do that to me, because I will do it. So I'm like, great, now I'm going to be wanting that, because I probably will read it, but I already have like the others, because I probably will then read the other one that I have first. I don't think they're a series, they're not connected, but I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think they are. They're just sort of her books, and I feel like when I look at them, they make me feel all cozy, because they just sound so cute. And so yeah, I was very excited that they were on the 3 for $6 in the works, and I could get all 3, so I've got those as well. Alright, so that's up to, I think, 22. So we now have 3 more out of the 25, which I don't have a physical copy of, because they're either a new release or I would love to like get to, and I need to buy it. So the first one is my most anticipated read of the year, because it's still not out yet, and when it releases, you best believe I will be in the works stat, and I will be buying it, and I'm so excited for it. But it is Fearless. I was gonna say Reckless. It is Fearless by Lauren Roberts, the 3rd and final book in the Powerless series, and I am so excited, like so excited. I feel like if anyone else has read this series, then you will also be the same, because honestly, because I read the entire series last year, like all 3, like Powerless, and then the novella, and then Reckless. They were like my favourite reads. Like literally each one was like 5 stars, because I just loved the world. I honestly, Kai and Payden, chef's kiss, genuinely. And so the way that I need this the minute it comes out, it's not even a joke. I just laugh because I think it comes out on my mum's birthday, so I'm going to be like, sorry mum, I'm just going to nip to the works for something. But yeah, I'm going to need that. But that was obviously still not out yet. It's not been released, and so I'll have to wait with that one. And then the other one, the other 2 rather, are books that are out and have been out and people have been reading about. I just haven't got a copy of it yet, but I will. And one of them is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, I think is how you say it, because I remember a bit ago hearing how good Yours Truly was, and then I didn't actually know either that it's like an interconnected, like, you know, series, and technically you should read the series. And so it's Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and then Just for the Summer. I would really love to read all of them, but for now I was just like, let me just say the one yet again, and the first one's Part of Your World. So I eventually will get my hands on that. But I was like, I kind of like the idea of like giving yourself you can buy books, but prioritizing the fact that the ones you the ones you will buy are the ones you have to read this year, like, or you're gonna read this year. And this is why I thought about it, and I was like, okay. But I feel like I don't have many. Like, I've only got 3 that I still haven't bought yet, so I'm gonna be like, ooh. But yes, definitely want to get Part of Your World, so I will be getting that when I can, and hopefully I can get around to reading that too. And then the last one that I would love to get to and read and buy is the reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson, because of course I ended up being obsessed with the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and I was like, I never really had any interest in that. And then because I read them, and everyone says that if you loved that, then you'll love this, read it. So I'm a bit like, I kind of need to. And so I feel like I'm going to have to get that book as well and read that, because, yeah, I just feel like if it's going to give me the same feeling that A Good Girl's Guide to Murder did, then that's what I need. I know it's not got Pip and Ravi in it, but I'll do. And hopefully I'll like it. So there is that. I mean, you could almost even say Killjoy, because I've been wanting Killjoy as well too, which is, I think, like a prequel novella to the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. And so I've been wanting that too. But I don't know about that either. I feel like I'm probably going to have to class that too as like a thing. But the main one is the reappearance of Rachel Price. Alright, so that is the 25 books that I would love to read this year. Now I'm going to say like that I would love to get to, or I'd love to read, because of course I don't think I'm going to read all of these books. Like, that is hard work. But if I can, then I will be very happy with myself. But of course, plans change. Other books happen. I will probably end up buying like a different book, or like, you never know, I'll read Akamath and then be obsessed and then buy the rest of the series and read that and then not read any like of them. But this is the goal. Like, this is what I'm telling you. I'm reading those books, okay? You best believe I am. And so that's why I thought I would do this video. But before we go, obviously there are the main 25, but I do still have others that I would like to mention. So I've classed them as like extras. So this first one I did have on my list, but then I got rid of it, but I still want to include it. So it's like an extra, but it's this book, and this is what I got off my mum for Christmas from my Taylor Swift themed blind date with a book. And it just looks so cute that I'm like, I would love to get to that if I can, but I'm not making it my goal, because obviously it's still quite a new one that I feel like, you know, if I can, then I will. And obviously it's like a summery book, so I feel like I'll try and maybe read it in the summer. But yes, because obviously it's like a Taylor Swift theme, and it just sounds really good. And honestly, I can't get over how cute the cover is. The cover is beautiful, so I'll add that one on, but I'm not pressed for like, oh, I'll be so sad if I don't read that kind of thing. And so I have that. And then I also have this pile of books, which are what I'm classing as like seasonal books, which are Christmas and stuff, because what I'll say is I started reading these last year, but I feel like I went into a funk. So I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and I was so excited for that book, and I gave it 3 stars. It was good, but I feel like it was not what I thought it was, and I don't really know what I thought it was, but it just wasn't that. And so I wasn't disappointed, but I was a bit like, okay, that. And so obviously I wanted to read the rest, so I got the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, and then obviously I had to get the Christmas Tree Farm. And I feel like out of the 2, this was the one I was excited about the most. But then I was in this weird funk, and the seasons were going by so quickly that before I knew it, it was already like November, December, and I was still reading that. And I was like, ugh, I'm sick of it. And I'm not being funny, but this also is, I think, the spiciest one, because even on the back, it has like a spicy thing. And I was like, great, because I don't really like spice. I'm terrible. Like, I don't mind it. And I'm like, great, because I feel like a lot of these books I have that I've just shown you have spice in it. So, hey. But I don't know. I was in such a weird mood. And so I just never read it. So... You'll laugh, but I have, we've got DNF, did not finish. I've made my own one called POP, or POP, which is put on pause, which I've decided to do with these. I mean, I know they're probably called like a soft DNF, but I'm not classing it as a DNF, because my idea is that I'm going to get back to them again this year, hopefully, and read them, because in the end, I was like, screw it, get rid of that one. I don't want to read that one, and I want to read this one. So I then picked this one up and started reading this, and it was cute. I was like starting to really like it at the beginning, and then yet again, I fell into the trap of like, ugh. And I don't know what that was. I really don't. I don't think it was the writing. I don't think it was the book. I think it was me. I think I was just in a weird mood. And so I definitely haven't DNF'd them, because I know I will like them, especially this one. And so I have popped them, put them on pause. So that's that. And then these are the same, because these are all Christmassy books as well. So I am obsessed with the show Dash and Lily on Netflix, and then I found out that they were also, because everything is, like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone turned around and said my life was a book, because I feel like everything is a book, but Dash and Lily is a series, and I was like, stop, that's precious. And so yet again I bought them and started reading it, but then yeah, so I was getting really annoyed at myself. I was like, what is wrong with me? What is going on? And so I would love to try and like get back to these and read these for Christmas this year, because why I haven't, I don't know, because I can guarantee that, because obviously these two are more content, because yet again Netflix cancelled the series, because there would have been another series of it, but they cancelled it. And so I just do like an annual rewatch of season 1, and every time I'm like, oh my god, I love them. And so I'm just a bit like, I need more. And so that's what made me do it. I just then never read it. I don't know what's up with me. So yeah, I don't know if it's the fact that this is the same story and I'm like, I already know it, kind of thing. So I'm like, okay. And also, it's by 2 different authors, and I felt like from the beginning I could feel that, like I could tell, because their writing was different. And so I was like, oh, I've got to get used to that. But I don't know. I was getting annoyed at myself, to be honest, over Christmas, because I buy all these like Christmassy books, and then I didn't read one. Like, I didn't read any of them. Like, I started The Christmas Tree Farm and I still didn't even read it. So I'm just like, what is going on? Like, maybe I just don't want to read seasonal books, because I'm just a bit of a weird reader, and I have pressure to like finish it in the time. And so I just then end up getting in a funk and I don't do it. But yes, and then these are some other Christmas books I have. Yet again, ignore the sticker. But I got excited again for the 3 for $6 deal, because they had some Christmas books, and out of them that I bought, I actually really wanted to read this, which is it's called Only for Christmas, and it was just a cutesy like rom-com, like Hallmark style book, and so I'd like to get to that as well, because I did want to read it last year but didn't. And then also this one, because I found this in the sale, so it was only £1, and I'd heard people talking about this one, which is why I was like, okay, if people say it's good, then I'll read it, because I think it's easier. Like, I'm like, oh, no one spoke about that, so I don't even know. So I'm like more on the fence about reading it, but because I've heard this, it makes me want to read it. So it's One Christmas Eve, and it's about like 3 different women over generations, and so I was like, cool, I like that. So I'm gonna hopefully try and read that as well, but I don't know. I'm not saying I'm gonna read all of them. I'm just gonna try and like at least read something Christmassy. Because I never did this, I keep saying this year, last year and I was sad about that. So hopefully this year. Alright, so that is everything for this video. Obviously I've rambled on forever. I hope you sat comfortably and you listened. Maybe you should put me in the background, that's probably the best thing to do. But yeah, just thought that I would show you what I have, maybe like give you some recommendations if you, I mean it's not recommendations because obviously I haven't even read them, but it was just like giving you some like options for other books that are out there and things that I'm excited to read. So yeah. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you are new, and I will see you all in my very next video.